Thank you. Thank you, and welcome everybody. We are going to see in this presentation some step about mobile forensics, but also kind of how is the situation nowadays with the spy tools, also how are some infection methods, and so on. First of all, so who am I? I'm computer engineer specializing in digital forensics, but also I'm writing a new methodology about new era of digital investigation with the cyber threat intelligence merged with the digital forensics. I worked a lot with the law enforcement all over the world, especially for not just for computer crime, but also for cyber espionage case and other kind of case. So, disclaimer. Then what we are going to see? We are going to see some definition about dual use, mobile device feature, the infection methods, the risk, because also, okay, we are just speaking about mobile forensics, but here there is a SCADA infrastructure. What is the connection between these two words? There are some connections also. Then a real case study about the mobile forensics analysis and the conclusion. Spy software. What is? Some definition about spy tool. We can have, first of all, some software that gathering information without our knowledge. So the definition all over the web, it's about gathering information about the user and relate it to advertise other interested parties. So just also for publish something and so on. But we can find also some other interesting stuff about spy bot or tracking or other stuff. Who can be used today spy tool, mobile spy tool? So the first image, it's about wife and husband that it's fighting. So, but we can have about competitive advance is cyber espionage, cyber spying, and other so on. Something interesting, because nowadays spy software are something that we are going to, I'm going to show you also some price, and it's very, very cheap. So we have two different kind of spy software at the moment. We have the commercial that I called at supermarket spy software, and then there is the spy software that is just for law enforcement use, but also that can be used for cyber espionage or mercenary and so on. This, for example, you can find a lot online, also for the not people that are in these two cybersecurity fields. So we have the ranking of spy tool. You have to imagine about the people in the street that is not into the cybersecurity world. So everybody nowadays can take spy tool for 20 euro per month. So, and online we can find everything about it, and also all the feature about the different spy tool. So, and you can see, for example, at the last line that a lot of spy tool offer also to the people, the non-experts, some support. So, you have to imagine this is we have the problem with the privacy problem with in Europe with the GDPR, and you have to imagine that it's about against privacy. But if you can see, there are instant messaging, call logs, and so on. But in the real case, there is one spy tool that me and my team analyzed, and we discovered a lot of other information. There is different kind, for example, for iOS, for Android, for all the operating system, through into Apple or Linux or Windows and so on. And these are the price. So it's very cheap. You have to imagine about the people in the street, the population. Because, for example, in Italy, but also in other countries in Europe, this kind of company, the commercial spying tool, are using and publishing for cyberbullying, for parental control. But it's just for take a patch, make a patch and stop, because a lot of time is not using for parental control or cyberbullying. So the other, for example, this one, other, and so on. But there are different mobile device type, and we have different type of spy software infection. What is the difference? Because, for example, we have the NIST, the National Institute of Standard and Technology, that identify 3 different types of mobile device. So, first of all, we have to know which kind of mobile device is. Because, for example, this kind of mobile device, the basic phone that now is going to come back in our market again, for example, just to call and SMS, it's not possible with this kind of phone insert a mobile spy software. But with this kind of phone, it's possible to spying remotely by other kind of attack. I don't know if you heard about it, SS7 attack. That it's a specific attack that it's through mobile operator and spying through the mobile operator. But in this case, in this kind of phone, we don't have any apps or internet connection. But in a lot of case in Italy, but also all around Europe, we are able nowadays to find a lot again to this phone. Then we have the advanced phone that are just with the few feature that it's not like a smartphone, are less. And in this kind, it's possible to insert the spy tool, but it's not for commercial, just the commercial one. So it's a hybrid one. And then there is the smartphone that nowadays we have, everybody. So with the smartphone, there are a lot of infection methods. So first of all, and the smartphone nowadays we know that are more powerful than some laptop. So there are this one, for example. You have to imagine, and it happened because this is a real case, that through we have, first of all, a case where a SCADA infrastructure was working and was connected to a mobile device. This is, for example, the malware delivery vectors for mobile device. We have a lot of vector, for example, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, but also the BTS or routers or physically one. For example, the SD or the micro SD that it's with the malware inside. But also, for example, the synchronization with PC, or someone can send us a link through WhatsApp or mail and so on. Or we have also other type of attack, for example, zero-day attack, and so on. So we have a large variety of method of attack in a smartphone. So, for example, this one is about the spy app that I show you in the previous slides. How it works, for example, cell phone spy app, downloading the part, install, and view activity. So but for the commercial use spy tool, you have to have the phone in your hand. So this is why it's so cheap. But for other technique, otherwise it's not. It's also possible to infect without having the smartphone in the hand. So, for example, the malware, there is some malware that it's directly into some markets and so on. So it depends by the situation, it depends by the target often, because and also how much money has to the spying that would like to spy. So there is another kind of attack that is called that is through OTA, over the air attack. So this is very the first over the air attack starting from, I think now it's more than 10 years. So with the silent SMS also. It was a very silent attack, so a lot of time it's not possible to detect immediately. So this is why I'll show you something also in the presentation, how to discover how and in what method we can use to discover this kind also of attack. Because, for example, you have to think, if we have this kind of silent SMS, the silent SMS doesn't compare into the SMS folders. So just through a mobile forensics analysis, we can have and we can find the silent SMS. Then there is also other attack that it's also through OTA over the air, that it's MMS flow. That it's also interesting, and it is and me and my team analyzed also this kind of attack, and nowadays we found also a lot of this kind of attack. So it's not just to speak or other kind of stuff, but a silent SMS over the air attack are still used and are very often used. So for this kind, the over the air SMS, it's a vehicle that it's very interesting to analyze, because it's a part that it's the attack is always on. So mobile phone message, it's a unique attack surface, for example, because you have to think for other kind of method, we have to have the internet connection or Wi-Fi. But for this kind of attack, also without internet could be done, because it's through GSM infrastructure. So then there is about, more feature about the ringtone, video, and picture. So there is something, low layers will be attackable soon. So also that it's very quickly and it's very easily to modify phone. So also both for iPhone and Android. It depends by the situation, and the cost also for each kind of mobile phone, it differs. So some risk. This is, for example, a corporate device. You have to imagine, because, for example, we have also all the companies that are very secure with all the firewalls, cyber threat intelligence, and so on. But a lot of time, also the mobile phone are not considering an asset. So a lot of time also the manager, especially the manager, would like to print something with their smartphone into the company, and also they would like to see everything, for example server and so on, from the smartphone. So sometimes it's a risk to connect also the smartphone to some internal server infrastructure of the company. Because, for example, you have to think about it, about compromised device that we can have that can have access to access cloud services, but also to the corporate network. And in this way, it is possible immediately to steal sensitive data or compromise brand, or also infect other employees. What we discover in one of our cases that we had, we discovered this. So it's a tablet, and also with a SCADA infrastructure that a manager can manage from their tablet. So it's the same. The mobile risk from tablet or mobile device, so smartphone, is the same. But we discover in this case that the infection was first into the tablet and then goes into the SCADA infrastructure. So it was not simple to identify, but at the end we discovered the exactly point where the attacker goes and take the owning of the tablet. So this is why it's so important, for example, to identify something and not connecting with the mobile device, because you have to think the mobile device and SCADA application nowadays can manage, for example, some Modbus TCP device or PLC about SCADA infrastructure. So this is some tools and application. The Modbus, it's the protocol for SCADA infrastructure. So, and it's possible to have directly access to this kind of infrastructure and modify something just through the smartphone. So this is very interesting to see. And first of all, it was a high risk for example, domestic side, because you have to think about the IoT, Internet of Things nowadays is going to speak about with the smartphone or with the tablet. So this is why it's so important, first of all, to download any app for Internet of Things, for example, for domotics or video surveillance of home or companies. It's better running a mobile forensics, because first of all we have to check if the mobile device is compromised or not. How we can help and how we can do this kind of discovering spy software through the methodology of digital forensics. So through the digital forensics we can discover exactly, with the mobile forensics, we can discover if there is a spy software in our mobile device. The digital forensics, so it's the science about how to obtain, preserve, and document all the digital evidences. So, and we have some phases to respect, that is not just for computer forensics or digital forensics, but these phases are, it's possible to applicate also to drones or IoT or car forensics or yacht forensics. So for each kind of forensics analysis, we can apply this kind of steps. So the difference between this kind of analysis is between dead analysis and live analysis. Dead analysis is called also post-mortem analysis. So it's about something that it's not connected. So, and for example, it's an hard drive, it's an USB sticks, and so on. For a live analysis, for example, on mobile device, we can have, and we have to do a live analysis because we have to interact with the device, and so it's not a repeatable action sometimes, because when we are in a low court, it is possible just doing one time this kind of analysis. So it depends by the situation, it depends by the file system of the mobile device, but first of all, the most important stuff that are all live analysis. But also the live analysis are the analysis on SCADA system in production, mass video surveillance, military system, and so on. And we have, for example, about digital forensics nowadays, some bullet about IT background, perfect organizer, genius, because sometimes we have to write our own script to recover and take digital forensics evidences. So, for example, you have to imagine until last year, we didn't have at the moment at 1 year ago some tools that can help digital forensics to extract drones data. But nowadays we have. So last year's, me and my team, we wrote an application to extract digital forensics evidences from drones. And this year, finally, some commercial tool comes into the market with this tool. It is no skill, because now we have the computer, mobile, cloud, GPS, network, audio and video, and the new malware forensics. So sometimes we have to match the two parts, for example, in this case, mobile and the malware forensics. And other skill, obviously, the legal, psychological, and geopolitical part. But the part of digital forensics, for example, it's so important for nowadays to analyze from a mobile device also all the IoT part, because you have to imagine not just in this case, but also when we are going to speak about the mobile POS. You have to imagine that the mobile POS nowadays it's just a part, an hardware part that is directly connected to a smartphone. And in Italy now there is a lot of this kind of mobile POS, but a lot of commercial, a lot of customer can use their own mobile device for connecting this kind of hardware. And it's so scared because, for example, happened to me one time that the owner of a shop, first of all, play with the games on the mobile phones, on the smartphone, and then connect the hardware to swipe the card. And when I saw this, okay, no, I pay cash, I prefer. So it depends, because now nowadays, okay, with this kind of infection, all the people could be attacked. So new field of digital kind of investigation about the cars, about drones, about avionics, and all the Internet of Things, but also all this kind of part, and all the mobile part. So what about the first important part, where we can find also some information about malware? It depends, because sometimes it's not just on file system, but also we can find something that is located into the SIM card, so into the file system of the SIM card. So the SIM card, its file system is just with the master file, dedicated file, and elementary file. It's just folder, and folder, and it's very easily also to read the file system of SIM card. And it's also used, the SIM card, not just for hidden malware, but also for hidden some document, for example, for anti-forensics. So, but what we are going to see now, the real case, the mobile forensics that can help us to discover the spy tool. It's about logical, physical, and file system. So there are 3 different kind of extraction that we can do into mobile device. And you have to imagine, and where we can find information, it depends, because for example we can extract also, for example, from physical and file system the deleted data, for example chat, WhatsApp, or link that we received, or malicious link, and so on. So this is, for example, a snapshot of a mobile device, and this I show you, for example, this part, it's a part of file system. So we can have we can use different kind of tools for mobile device, but we can do also with open source tools. So we can extract and we can, but we have to check manually all the file system of the smartphone. It depends by the spy software, because nowadays, for example, we analyze thousands of spy software, and we saw there are different kind of location of file system. There spy software was hidden. So it depends by the different kind of spy software. So what we have, for example, for this kind of phone, it was we found a mobile track engine that was a specific spy tool that is not the commercial spy tool at 20 euros into the website. No, it was put remotely into the smartphone, and we identify something. For example, you have to check that the real creation date is 1970. It's 1970. So it's fake, okay, obviously. But we can have, for example, this kind of strange dates when we found recovered data. So sometimes, because with this is a physical extraction. So it depends. This are all the permission that and what the smartphone can do with this kind of spy software. So it was about the change network state, clear the app user data, also the location, full access to the internet connection, and write contact, send SMS, and also change vibration, read contact as a location. So it was, and receive also SMS. This case was about a litigation in a law court about one person that he didn't send any SMS, but from the victim, the victim saw his phone. And the victim go to the police to do, okay, I have a problem. Someone injured me through SMS, but the owner of the phone, they didn't know nothing about it. And we discover that someone manipulate this kind of phone and sent without any permission SMS to the victim. So it could be happen to everybody, this kind of attack, unfortunately. And this is why it's so important to run a mobile forensics. For example, one per month, and so on. And for example, other kind of information that we are not could be able to extract. Why? Because all the information was sending through Tor. So this is why it was so interesting also to go to recover all the part of information about the attacker. And but at the end we found something, because also we connect and we did a data traffic analysis, and at the end we discover the attacker. So we can have and we can analyze and decrypt in our field also encrypted phone, but also sometimes nowadays encrypted phone could receive the malware and spy tool. So conclusion, we have some conclusion, and we can use some countermeasure to prevent this kind of attack. Run a mobile forensics analysis often. Prevent the installation of unauthorized application. Didn't do routing or jailbreaking of the phone. Be careful also using some application about backup, calendar, and so on. But of course, educate user. And I don't know if you heard about APWG. There is a mobile threat reports. APWG is the anti-phishing working group, and it's very interesting to see this kind and to read this kind of new threats for mobile phone. Then, okay, thanks for your attention. And if you have any answer, I stay all the day in the conference, at the conference. Thank you for your attention.